Hey friends, Jill here. Welcome back to Whispering Willow Farm. It is harvest and preserving day. I've got a full day in the kitchen and outside. We're actually about to go out into the raised bed garden and harvest the rest of our carrots. And then we're gonna head down to the tunnel and harvest our cauliflower and some of our Brussels sprouts that are ready. I'm trying to stage how I harvest, just that way I'm not overrun and produce isn't like rotting on the counter and I don't have enough space in the fridge. And so that's something too that I've just been kind of harvesting in these little increments that I can preserve them in. And so I thought I would take you guys along with me today and show you how I am preserving them. I did mention the other day in a video, I like to preserve my food in several different ways. And so that's kind of what we're gonna be doing today. Another thing that I like to do, everything that I'm gonna be harvesting today and putting up needs to be blanched in hot water and then immediately put in cool water before I put it up. So what I do is I usually take a huge pot, fill it up with water, and I go ahead and have it on, so it's on like 3 right now. I like to go ahead and have it boiling, that way, you know, by the time I get back inside, the water is boiling and ready to go, since usually those large pots take quite a bit of time. And then I will have my pot of water in the sink, and when I come back in, I'll just throw a bunch of ice in there. So I actually have my harvesting tools outside, but we'll go run and get them and get started. Oh my goodness, harvesting days, they're probably my favorite days. I have such a messy kitchen. It is literally insane. Like, the kitchen is so disgusting all the time. I don't even care. It reminds me of the summertime when I've just got like tomatoes all on the counter. I absolutely love it, so I'm excited. I have a bunch of these crates that we use a lot to harvest, which is probably what I'm gonna throw the carrots in. One thing I like about these little totes, we got these from a local farmer. I don't even know where he got them or what he used them from, but he gave us a bunch of them. I like to harvest my root veggies and throw in here because there's the holes in here. And so I can harvest them, take them over to the water hose and spray it, and all of that's gonna drain out of the bottom before I ever bring it into the house. So maybe think a little bit about that when you're figuring out your buckets of what you want to grab. So I'm harvesting carrots. I harvested a lot of these on New Year's Day. We made all those ferments. I think I told you guys about that. For these, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with these. I may end up canning some. They're really pretty, look at that. So pretty. I may end up canning some of these. What I am gonna do too, before I ever throw them in my little basket, I'm gonna go ahead and pop the tops off. And then we will feed these to the piggies, or we'll compost them. We have got so many of these. It's so funny too, because I didn't even think I had a really good carrot year, and here we are. Got these dragons. So when you cut these open, they're actually orange on the inside. And they're super, super beautiful. Whenever we ferment these or anything, we actually don't peel them, because then it peels the beautiful color off. So we just leave it. Oh my word, check out this carrot, you guys. This thing is massive. Oh my word. It's so funny, you know, I just tell people, I can't grow carrots, I don't really know what I'm doing. Y'all, I lied. I don't know how I know what I'm doing, but somehow I do. That thing is massive. That's so awesome. Alright, so you guys can see how easy that was just to spray it and kind of sift it out. And now we have all these beautiful stinking carrots. That is so exciting. I'm pretty sure that's all I'm gonna harvest out here. I might have a couple cabbages, then I might make some kraut and just stick on the countertop. All of our bulk ferments we have downstairs in like 1 and 5 gallon buckets, but I may just make some. I may even make like a fresh kimchi or something. I don't know. But the reason that I would even consider harvesting those right now is because they're starting to split, and you don't want that. So when your cabbages start to form those big heads and they get too big, they'll split, and you don't want that. So I'm gonna go do some investigating and see what that looks like. But so far, feeling pretty happy about it. All right, so I'm down here in the tunnel. I'm gonna be harvesting a couple heads of cauliflower. Some of these just aren't looking that well, and we're gonna actually be making cauliflower rice in the kitchen today. So let's get busy harvesting. Removing all these outer limbs. I'll come and collect these once I'm done harvesting all of them and feed them to the pigs. All right, yes. This is certainly not a bad cauliflower harvest. I already have one inside, so I'm going to start. I'll probably harvest another one, so I'll start with 8 heads, see how much that makes, and see how much time that took me. And then I'll probably come back out here and just harvest the rest. So next up on our list of things to harvest, it's gonna be the Brussels sprouts. We have some of these that have gotten pretty big. Again, I'm just trying to harvest some of these. I'm definitely not gonna harvest them all. I really don't even have a ton of time tonight to work on all of this. It's gonna take quite a bit of time. But I am gonna harvest a few. I'm gonna harvest the entire stalk as well. I do harvest the entire plant. As you guys can see, let me lighten it up some for you. Look at all those big, got a little dirty. I'm gonna go through, take all these off. I have grown Brussels sprouts in the past pretty successfully too. So some of these aren't as big as I would hope. So I think I may end up even letting some of these stay longer and just harvesting some more of the cauliflower. We may just eat this with dinner. Now that I've looked at it, they looked kind of big, but now that I'm like up close, I'm realizing they're not that big. So I'll go ahead and take this one in. We'll just throw it in our dinner. I probably won't even worry about blanching these and trying to freeze them. All right, friends, let's head up to the house and start preserving all this food. All right, guys, I made it back into the house. I had Nathan help me. I've had this huge pot of water, if you guys remember, boiling before I ever went outside. It's super hot. And so the same thing that I did with the broccoli is essentially what I'm gonna be doing with the cauliflower. I'm going to chop it up in smaller pieces. I'm gonna put it in the hot water for 3 or 4 minutes. Then it's immediately gonna go in the pressure canner that's got water and ice in it for the same amount of time. And then I'll lay it out on the counter to kind of dry a little while I get everything ready for the vacuum sealer, which is how I'm going to be putting all of this up today, is with that vacuum sealer. So we are making cauliflower rice, so we're actually gonna end up putting this in a food processor. So I am trying to keep the cauliflower in these bigger chunks. If I start breaking them up in smaller chunks, that's just gonna get super messy. Cauliflower tends to fall apart easier than broccoli, and I don't want that. So I'm trying to keep these in these larger chunks. That way it's just easier to transfer from the hot water to the cold water, and then, you know, just to dry on the counter. So as you guys can see, I recruited some help. The goal is to have the kitchen cleaned back up before you need it. Nathan's kind of stressing out over here with the dirty kitchen. So as you guys know, Nathan handles all of our YouTube comments. So if anyone's responding, most of the time it's always Nathan. And he got a comment the other day. And so I thought we would just hit it on here because I'm sure it's a comment that we will get more often, you know, as we're doing these preserving videos as well. And what was that comment?
Someone commented, what do we do about bugs in our produce? And jokingly commented that bugs don't bother us, we just eat them, you know. However, when we are blanching the broccoli, I think it was on the broccoli.
It was on the broccoli, yeah.
But when we're blanching the broccoli and the cauliflower and the Brussels sprouts, you know, we're putting those in boiling water, you know, and then immediately into an ice bath. And so if there are any worms or bugs, you know, they're gonna die, maybe even fall out in the pot. And I'm the one, so like I was just showing you guys, I'm chopping it up. I'm looking over these and inspecting them as well. So with the broccoli in particular, Nathan's mom had come into town and helped us. And so we were looking over them as we were chopping them off. We had those little caterpillars, and so we were just pulling those off. And so we were inspecting it. However, you know, food is dirty. That's how it's supposed to be. We don't spray anything on our stuff. We just practice organically. So you are going to find bugs. If you find bugs in your own food, that's not a problem. It's not a concern. You can wash them. You can hand pick them off. Obviously in the water, you know, we'll see them if they fall off. We haven't really had any pests with the cauliflower. But that's not really, it's really not something we're concerned with because we're doing all these steps to make sure that we're getting the bugs off. Yeah. Sometimes those bugs taste great.
Oh, would you stop?
Here in Arkansas, we eat bugs, so.
Stop. All right, so right now the cauliflower Nathan is breaking up and putting in our food processor. I'll try to link the one we have. This is actually our first time using it. So if it's good, I'll link it and let you guys know. But now we're just gonna make it into cauliflower rice. You feeling hopeful this is gonna work?
I'm feeling hopeful. We have to be if we're videoing it.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah. All right, let's see what happens.
All right, I'm gonna let you do the honors.
Yeah. Let's see if I can do this without breaking. Okie dokie, here we go.
Alright, we had to just do some troubleshooting.
We threw the box away that had the instructions. And so hopefully this is it.
Alright, time to try.
Ready?
Yep. That's awesome. There we go. That looks great. right, so Nathan is about to take the cauliflower rice and spread it out on our freeze dryer trays. And the reason that we're doing that is because with our broccoli, there was moisture in there, and therefore the vacuum seal didn't seal all the way. So what we're gonna do is spread it out, pop it in the freezer. For how long do you think, babe?
I really don't know. I'm just gonna kind of check it.
Gonna wing it.
After a couple hours.
Yeah, and then we'll transfer it just to make sure that we get a good seal on it and that it's lasting. You don't want to go through all this trouble to preserve your food and it not dry out. And so that's what we're doing right now. All right, Nathan and I have a lot more stuff. Oh, cut your head off. Just widen the lens a little.
Squat.
We have got a lot more stuff to do. It is the same process we did with the broccoli though, however. We're gonna put it on those sheet pans, pop it in our freezers. Once all the moisture sucked out of it, we'll put it in the vacuum seal bag. That's one thing too though, because if your vacuum seal bag, if that's how you're choosing to preserve your food and it doesn't seal properly, you've wasted your time. Like, it's not gonna last. And so it is one of those steps that just, even if you leave it over on your counter overnight to get all the moisture out, it is important to do that. I also think too, we just really prefer preserving our food in this way versus me being in the kitchen all day over a hot pressure canner.
Who wants to do that?
Who wants to do that? And there are some things that we do, like green beans. I do can some of my green beans, but it just...
Some.
I don't know. We just really like freezing and vacuum sealing, and this man's going to get on his freeze dryer. That is what the rest of our produce is going to be kept for.
Yep.
It's so you can freeze dry it.
Yes, and we eat a majority of our vegetables in a cast iron skillet. We don't boil them, and so
that's true.
You know, canning just doesn't.
They don't taste as good.
They don't. I personally don't like canned food taken out and put in a cast iron skillet.
Yeah. So you're going to be seeing a ton of content around preserving food in January. We are cleaning out our gardens, prepping, getting them ready for the spring. The rest of the stuff that's coming out is more than likely going to be this man and the freeze dryer. I do want to learn how to operate that, but we'd love your guys' input. How do you preserve your food? What are you harvesting right now? This is a really good way for us to connect with you guys, know what's going on your farms and in your gardens, just like you know what's going on our farm and in our gardens. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.